Hey everybody, today on Northern Revolutions, we're going to talk about the website Discogs and why you might want to use it if you're getting into record collecting. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome to Northern Revolutions. I'm Rob. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I want to talk about the website Discogs. It's an incredible tool if you're getting into record collecting. So I'm going to show you a little bit about it today. What Discogs is, for those of you that may not be familiar with it, it's a website. It is a crowdsourced music database, essentially. It does four things primarily. Number one, it is almost an encyclopedic archive of pretty much every album, every single ever released. The second thing that Discogs is incredibly useful for is if you create an account, which is free, you can catalog your own collection. So every one of my records there, I had cataloged in Discogs. The third thing that Discogs does really well is it's an online marketplace. So I'm sure everyone has probably bought records on eBay. Similar on Discogs, except they're not auctions. The price is the price, and it's basically like they're all buy it now. And the fourth thing that Discogs does is it's a community. There are forums on there where you can discuss pretty much anything related to music collecting, whether it's records, whether it's CDs, whatever question you want to ask or whatever information you want to find, you're probably going to find it in the Discogs forums. So Discogs is a great resource. I think everyone should use it. If you're getting into record collecting, it makes your life a lot easier. I'm going to go through some of those things that it does today and let you take a look. Okay, so let's take a look at Discogs. This is the landing page, discogs.com. Obviously, this is how it looks on a computer screen. It's going to look a little different if you're looking at it on your mobile device. But here it is. The first thing that Discogs does, and I think is probably the most important, is it's a crowdsourced database of, it's almost like an encyclopedia of every recording. So if there's something you want to know about a record or a song or an album, it's on here. So I'll give you an example. We go to the search box at the top and let's just look for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Here's what it pops up. There's a bunch of them, all different versions, but I'll click on the first one. Okay, so you'll see up here in the corner it says master release. So this is just the basic, this is the album, a little bit of information, the year it came out, the style, the genre, the tracks that are on here. But the important part, when you scroll down, here's a listing of all the different releases of it. If you look here, there's 1,054 different versions of this. Obviously that's too much information, but it has some great search filters. So let's say, because I'm a vinyl guy, that I want to look for vinyl. And let's say that I only want to look for first pressing. So the year it came out was 1967. It has now narrowed this down to 150 different results. Okay. Now, these are all over the world. Let's say I wanted to sort it by country. I can click on country, and it's going to list them alphabetically. Argentina, followed by Australia, followed by Bolivia, Brazil, and so on. Let's say that's still too much information. let's say I just wanted to see the ones that came out that year in the UK. There you go. Here's 14 of them. So here's the very first pressing of Sgt. Pepper. It's on Parlophone, PMC 7027, came out in the UK, was released in 1967. The reason this little green thing is here is it's saying that I have one of them in my collection. We'll get into that later. But this is just a great way of finding information out about a particular pressing. Let's say I want to look at this first pressing, and now this brings me up to the page specific to that pressing. It gives you more information about, you know, the credits and whatever. Here's the useful stuff. It gives you a lot of different information. This has a Garrett and Lofthouse cover. It has it's the black and yellow Silvertex Gramophone Company Parlophone label. All that kind of stuff. Down here you'll see all the different matrix numbers that you would find in the dead wax area of the record. So it's a great source for identifying what you've got. And then over here is there's some marketplace information. We're going to talk about the marketplace in a few minutes. So that's kind of in a nutshell how the search function works. Another way you can do it is, let's say you want to search by artist. And I'll think of, I don't know, let's do this. Search the Goo Goo Dolls, just for fun. Alright, so here we go. This is the Goo Goo Dolls. Here's a little bit of biographical information about them. Here's all their releases. Now let's say I just want to look, for example, for their albums. Here we go. Here's the albums that they've released. And let's say I want to drill down a little bit further and look at Dizzy Up the Girl, which is one of my holy grails that I still do not yet own. Again, here's the information about the album. Here's all of the different pressings that are available. CD, cassette, LP, it's all on there. So that's how you use the search function to look at the database, which is really the core of what Discogs is. Pretty much any record that you could think of that you want to look up, it will be in here. If it's not, if you have an account, you can add a release to the database. Now, the next most useful thing Discogs can do, if you sign up for an account, you can catalog your entire collection in Discogs, and it's saved in the cloud. It's great for a bunch of reasons. Number one, you've got a list of everything that you own. And when you get into the hundreds of records, it's pretty hard to keep it in your brain. So it's nice to have your collection archived so that if you're crate digging, you can pull it up on your phone when you're at a record store or a record show and see what you've got or see what you're looking for. It's also nice for, insurance purposes that, in the event that anything should happen, you've got everything documented. So you can sign up for a Discogs account. It's free. I obviously have one already. When I log in, it shows your dashboard, which you can customize. It shows purchases that I've made, new releases, recommendations that Discogs thinks that I probably should have based on my collection. But here's the important part. Here's my collection. So this lists every single record that I've got. There is 25 pages of them. It's sortable. So right now it's just sorted by artist. You could sort it by year. You can sort, you'll see over here, min, median, and max. These are the historical selling values for your records. You can sort that way. For example, if I wanted to see, based on what records have sold for in the Discogs marketplace, here's my most expensive record. Obviously, it's a Beatles Butcher cover. If I were to just pick a record, let's pick this one. So this is in my collection. Again, this page should look familiar. It's got all of the different information. But what it has over here, and you'll see in this green box, this This is Aerosmith's Just Push Play. This was added to my collection 8 years ago. My media condition, that's the record itself, is mint. The sleeve is mint. I don't have any notes in here, but usually under notes, if I have, for example, an album that's autographed, I'd put in there signed by the band or whatever. But here's my information that is in my collection. The other thing that's really nice about this is there's an option where you can export your collection. So over here on the right hand side, if you click on export my collection, you can sort, do you want to export your want list, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. I'm going to export my collection. I have a data request pending now, so it takes a few minutes for Discogs to spit this out. Okay, when Discogs eventually sends you the email that you can download your collection, it only takes a few minutes. This is what you get. You get a Excel spreadsheet that it has the catalog, the artist, the title, and all kinds of information, which you can then, if you're an Excel whiz, you can sort and do whatever you want with. So you can see here's all my listings and all the conditions that my specific copies are in, and so on. So really handy, useful application. Sign up for the free account and catalog your collection. Another really cool thing that Discogs allows you to do is build a want list. So you can see along the top here, I'm still on my collection page. If I click on want list, these are all the things that I'm looking for. It's a list of just stuff that I'm hoping to find someday. If there are copies for sale in the Discogs marketplace, it will tell me. So this album by 5440, there are 7 copies available starting from $15.01 Canadian. It's pretty handy. It's a secure thing just like eBay, but we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Okay, so the third thing that Discogs is useful for, aside from being a sort of encyclopedic reference of all things commercially available music and being a tool to catalog your collection, there's also a marketplace. You can get to it several ways, but it's right here on the front page. There are several tabs you can start with, vinyl, for example. And here's everything that is available in the marketplace. Right now, there are 44 million items for sale on Discogs. There are much easier ways to find what you're looking for. You could just simply search for something. Let's say I want to search for something like Mudcrutch. Alright, so here's Mudcrutch. Now I can go down to here, see which version I'm looking for. I want it on vinyl. And here's a couple different versions. So let's say I want the original. Okay, so if I wanted to add this to my want list, I would just go over here to add to want list. It's now in my want list and will show up if it's in the marketplace. It will say down here under marketplace that there currently is 1 copy for sale and it's $129.65 Canadian. So if I click on the buy vinyl, I'm not actually going to buy it, but it takes me to the listing. And this person has said the 2 records are in really great shape. The album cover is nice and clean. Gives you a description of what the condition is. They've rated the sleeve condition and the media condition. You can see here's the seller. They have 100% positive based on 52 ratings and shows where they ship from. Gives you the price and the shipping price. If you wanted to buy it, you could just click add to cart, or you could make an offer. It is secure. You can pay through PayPal. It's covered by buyer protection plans. So buying from the Discogs marketplace is quite handy. One of the things you can do is you can click on your want list. So here's my want list. These are all the things that I've decided that I want. So let's say I'm looking for this year, Andre Williams and the Sadies. There are 3 copies of this album pressed on Yep Rock Records. There's 3 of them for sale for $39. Well, now I'm really interested. So, depends where I want to buy this from. I would probably buy this middle one here since I'm in Canada. This person ships from Canada, so shipping's cheaper. It's $41 with shipping. It's about $71. That's not bad. Some age to the cover. Vinyl plays well. He's got 100% positive ratings based on 2,000 ratings. So you get the idea how this works. The other thing that is great about the Discogs marketplace, again, we're still looking at this Andre Williams and the Sadies record. It will give you a purchase history, a sales history for the last 2 years. It will tell you the last time it was sold. It will tell you the average, the median, the highest, and the lowest. It graphs it so you can see it, and then it documents each sale. So, gives you the comments about what condition it was in or whatever the seller has decided to list, and it tells you what it sold for in its original currency, and it also converts it to your local currency. So it's a great way of gauging the value of records. Some people really like to crap on this, but I mean, ultimately a record is only worth what people are willing to pay for it, and these are actual documented sales. So if this is what people are willing to pay for something, ergo, it's a pretty good indication of what something is worth. So very handy, useful piece of information. Even if you're not looking to buy something, it's handy from a valuation standpoint if you're trying to figure out what something's worth. And the fourth thing that Discogs is very useful for is there's a community. So there is a discussion forum where you could learn about anything. You can talk about general music. You can ask questions and discuss the database. You can talk about the marketplace. So let's say we want to just go to general. Here's all of the recent topics. So, here's a discussion going about American rock versus British rock. You'll know how discussion forums work, so I don't need to go over that. But, there's some good questions and answers about the database here. You can see also on here, you can post questions about the actual marketplace. It's kind of a community help thing. If there's engaging discussions about music, but also if you want to ask about certain records, let's say you've got a question you can't find an answer for anywhere, post it and people will answer it. So it's an incredible wealth of knowledge. So that's everything for me today, everybody. I hope that you found that quick look at Discogs informative. Go on the website, poke around, look up some information, set up a free account. I think you'll find that if you want to get into record collecting, it is an absolutely invaluable resource. Let me know in the comments what you think. That's it for me today, everybody. Catch you on the flip side.